Okay, good day, guys. Good day to you all. Welcome back to the Formula Sports channel. Thanks for being here. A gentle reminder, as always, to please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And we do appreciate the support. As always, it is much appreciated. So, guys, I don't know how many of you were up for the game last night or in the early hours of this morning, but I was up for it. The game started at 2 o'clock. The game time changed, right? It changed, but we still had to be up for. Initially, I was planning to go sleep and then wake up, but I eventually decided to sit up and watch, right? And I haven't slept up to now. I haven't really slept, right? Because I had intended to put out these videos earlier, but I kind of fell asleep a little bit, but I got up, so I haven't really slept, to be honest with you. But I it guys, the Reggae Boys pulled off a 1-all draw in Japan against the Serbians, and it was really good to see, man. First of all, I owe the Reggae Boys an apology. I personally thought that Serbia was gonna, you know, I don't want to say wipe the floor with them, but honestly, man, I thought it was gonna be bad. I'm not gonna lie to you, I thought it was gonna be bad, right? And the man them go down there and pull off a draw. And it's not only the result, guys. It's not only the result, it was the manner of the performance. It was very good and very encouraging, very reassuring, right? I was starting to worry a little bit when I see some of the Nation League games with the likes of Honduras and Costa Rica and Mexico and the US. I was starting to worry a little bit, right? That CONCACAF looks strong and we all over the place. So the performance was very assuring, man. Very, very assuring. An excellent draw against a good team, right? An excellent draw against a good team. Even though it was a week in Serbia, and it was obviously a week in us as well. The Serbian B team is still a good team with players playing at a very high level, right? So, and they did have some usual starters in there as well. For instance, Godel, the Sevilla, right, holding midfielder. He was on the park as well. So they did have some first teamers in there as well. Some Serbian A team players in there as well. So it was just very good to see the manner of the performance and the manner of the draw. Who would have thought that this would have been the game to lift the spirits of Reggae Boys fans? Right? Who would have thought? Right? Given the tumultuous build up to this game, who would have thought that this was the game to lift our spirits? Right? I mean, just amazing, man. Amazing. And to be honest with you guys, I haven't seen such an extended period of dominance from the Reggae Boys in quite a while against a credible opponent, right? They played well against Saudi in the second game, as well. But let me tell you something. After the first, the Serbians had the better of the first 15 minutes for sure. They were probing. They weren't really getting anywhere, but they were probing, right? And they had control of the ball. And the game was, to be fair, the game was being played a lot in our half, even though the Serbians weren't really making any headway, right? But you see, after the first 15 or so minutes of the game, when the Reggae Boys started to find their feet, trust me, man, the next 30 minutes of the first half, man, we were dominant, guys. Dominant. Dominant. It was amazing to see. The Serbians were struggling. I cannot believe I'm saying this, but the Serbians were struggling. They were struggling. We had them against the ropes. We had to have such a credible team, a team ranked number 25 in the world with some of their starters on the pitch, and even the benchers to even the B team players are playing at a very high level. And to put up that sort of a performance against that good of a team, it was just amazing to see, man, the way the man dominate the most of the going ons in the second half, in the first half rather. The Reggae Boyz dominated it, right? Dominated it. But initially I thought that, and to be fair, I guess the team was a better team, but they were giving the Serbians a little bit too much respect in the first 15 minutes. But after about the first 15 minutes or so, things changed. The Reggae Boy started growing in confidence and completely took over the first half after about the first 15 or so minutes. Right? Cantelo. Guys, Cantelo. Cantelo, Cantelo, Cantelo. For those of you who watch the game, you know what I'm talking about. Who is that? Is that Damian Lowe or is that N'Golo Kante in the middle of the park, guys? Mercy, man, mercy. Right, you know what? I'm gonna do a video especially on that performance, right? I'm not even gonna go too much into Damian Lowe's performance in this particular video. But man, trust me, man, trust me. Kante Lowe, man, that is Damian's new nickname. Kante Lowe. The man was brilliant in this game. In the first, to be fair, he kinda, yeah, I don't really want to go too much into it, but especially into his performance, I'm saving that for another video. But the first half, man, he was the main one responsible, right, for us taking the game to the Serbians the way we did in the first half, man. Our wrist was taken, he was put into the CDM position to see, if he could be an answer to our CDM role, right, or our CDM woes rather. Not only for this particular tour, but generally speaking. Right? Cantelo had a brilliant game, man. Guys, hashtag Cantelo. Hashtag Cantelo. That is Damian Lowe's new nickname, Cantelo. Right? Amazing to see how Damian bossed the middle of the park, man. Bossed it. And I have to personally give Theodore Tapa with more credit. I think he got his tactics spot on from a formation standpoint, right? From a formation standpoint, the 3-4-3 on the ball, which is something that I don't think I've ever seen us play with a 3-4-3 on the Tapa Whitmore. Right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I've seen us play with a 3-5-2, 5-3-2 off the ball, but I've never seen Tapa implement a 3-4-3. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, right? And the 4-4-2 off the ball as well, I thought was very good when we were defending. It seemed to me that we were defending with a 4-4-2 behind the ball, and I think both formations worked well on the ball and off the ball. And I think Tapa got his substitutions right as well. There was some debate about that on coach's desk last night, right? But I think he got his substitutions right. I think they were spot on, in my humble opinion. People might disagree, and they're entitled to do so. Everybody has their opinions. But in my opinion, I thought he got his substitutions spot on, right? Putting Lowe in the midfield turned out to be a good thing, right? So that was a good move from Tapa as well. Tapa also, there was a lot of double teaming going on in the middle of the park, especially in the first half, right? And it worked like a charm, right? The Serbians could not handle the press of the Reggae Boyz. They could not handle the press of the Reggae Boyz, right? In the latter stages of the game as well, when we were coming under a fair amount of pressure from the Serbians, Theodore Tapa Whitmore went with a 5-4-1 shape, right? And I think that worked like a charm as well. I think that after Tapa Whitmore implemented that 5-4-1, we kind of were looking we were looking like, the Serbians had another goal in them, right? After they scored that equalizer, we were kind of looking like we were going to concede another goal. But the 5-4-1 change of shape, man, I personally think was very good. And I think after we moved into that particular shape, the Serbians did not even look like they had any intentions of breaking us down, much less to actually do it, right? So, credit where credit is due right there, because in the second half we were tiring a bit. You could see it, right? The level of intensity in the first half compared to the second half, massive drop off, right? So the change of shape helped to keep the Serbians out big time, in my opinion, in the second half, even though the boys were tired. The Serbians found even though the boys were tired, the Serbians found the 5-4-1 difficult to penetrate. Another tactic from Theodore Tapa Whitmore that he got right, the pressing. Right, we pressed very well in this game all over the park. All over the park, we pressed very well, and we chose our moments to engage in an intense front press as well that caused the Serbian problems. Let me tell you guys how I saw that, right? So, I initially think that we were supposed to pick our moments, right, to engage in the front press. I think that was initially Tapa Whitmore's plan. But I think that the reason why we went so hard on the front press in the first 45 minutes is that Tapa Whitmore, upon the couple of times that we engaged in the intense front press, Tapa Whitmore realized that the Serbians were not handling the front press very well at all, right? They were shaky. He realized that they were not handling the front press at all. And I think Theodore Whitmore just said, you know what? Let us go hard right now. Press the hell out of these guys. And let us see if we can go 2-3 goals up. Right? We got 1 goal through Andre Gray. Right? Pressing the goalkeeper. Right? Running down a ball that he was not favored to get to first, and he didn't get to it first either, right? And I just think it was very good, man. Very good alertness from Tapa. The way I saw it, I realized initially we were picking our moments to press, to engage in the intense front press, and then Theodore Whitmore just realized they were incredibly vulnerable, right, on the intense front press, and just said, you know what, right now we're going to seize the moment, seize the initiative, and just go hard. And the man them go hard. And Serbia was struggling. I mean, they were constantly turning over the ball, right? And we were constantly catching them in transition and getting a lot of chances, right? So that was brilliant from Tapa in my estimation as well. And as I said, man, the Serbians were just not handling the press very well. And guys, even when the Serbians had us under pressure, it was not as bad as when we had them under pressure either. When we had our period of dominance, man, the Serbians were all over the place, man. So that was beautiful to see as well. It was also a little bit surprising to me that even though we didn't start the game with any creative midfielders, we were able to create a number of chances, especially in the first half. Right, so that was a little bit surprising to me. Okay, so let's get to player performances now individually. I thought most of the players did well. I thought most of the players equipped themselves well. And I thought most of the performances were good. Goal scorer Andre Gray, his second cap for the Reggae Boyz, right? Second time we see Andre Gray in a Reggae Boyz shirt, and I think Andre Gray did well again, man. He did well in the first game against the US, and he did well today again. To be honest with you, the only issue I have with Andre Gray is that, with the greatest of respect to him, it has looked like he has lost a step, right? They say we know that Andre Gray has been quick in the past. The speed isn't there anymore. The speed just isn't there anymore. The pace just isn't there anymore. There was a particular play where he did brilliantly, right, to beat a player and get in behind the defense, right? And he had a couple of yards to run at the goal to get in a 1v1 situation with the goalkeeper. and he just didn't have the pace like one time to create separation between himself and the defender, right? And the defender ended up catching up with him, and to be fair, the challenge was a good one as well. But that was the only issue I had with Andre Gray, or I have with his game generally. The pace just isn't there anymore. But the fact of the matter is, he still is a very good player that can contribute a lot to our program. It is just, man, what a thing if Andre Gray still at the pace, man. What a thing if Andre Gray still at the pace. And I do understand it. The player is what? Like 28, 29 right now. I think he like recently turned 29 if I'm not mistaken. Right? He's about 28, 29. So I don't understand how him lose the pace so early. Probably it had something to do with the injury. I don't know. But can you imagine if Andre Gray had pace, man? What a player he would be for us, man. Trust me, man, and the variety of situations that we could use Andre Gray in to get goals for the Reggae Boyz. Trust me, man. Trust me. He had some good hold up play in this game as well, right? Good hold up play from Andre Gray in this game as well, just like in the US game. Good hold up play that was able to bring others into the game as well, into those respective particular plays. So Andre Gray was good for the most part in this particular game, and obviously I mean, he was good. He was good in the game, man. He was very good as a matter of fact, right? Very good in my estimation, right? The goal was a very good goal, a very good goal, right? A touch of fortune, right? But fortune. Well, it wouldn't be brave, but fortune favors the hard working, right? I mean, he pressed the goalkeeper, try and run down because the keeper actually got there first. To be fair to the keeper, he got off his line, right, and got to the ball from Turgot first, right, just before Andre Gray. But the keeper's momentum carried him into Andre Gray, and the ball would have hit off of Andre Gray's right foot, I believe, right, and you know because of that contact, the keeper would have lost the ball. People saying he picked his pocket. He didn't really, pick the pocket of the goalkeeper per se. It was a touch of fortune, but the ball fell kindly for him, and that from that angle, it was such a tight angle, right, and for him to find the back of the net, very good, man, very good, right. Blair Turgott, I was looking forward to see Blair Turgott on his debut, right? And for the most part, Blair Turgott was very good again, man. Very lively in this particular game, right? He featured a lot in the game, and that was expected. He was going to be he was the main, he was always going to be the main creative player. From a creative standpoint, he was always going to be the main player, right? In this squad, especially given the fact that, Ravel didn't start, right? Even though Ravel hasn't played in a while, I'm a little bit surprised given the fact that the fact that we didn't have any number 10s, any other number 10 in the squad. I'm a little bit surprised that he didn't start Ravel, but I did not anticipate Theodore Tapa Whitmore going with anything else other than a 4-2-3-1. So I guess that's why Ravel would not have started. If he went it for 4-2-3-1, it's highly possible that Ravel would have started. But so Blair Turgott was always gonna be, a main source of creative inspiration, and he did not disappoint at all. Especially with the goal, man. It was a brilliant turn, right, in the middle of the park. Turned the Serbian player brilliantly, right, and delivered an excellent, beautifully weighted pass to pick out the run of Andre Gray, who was running in behind the Serbian defense, right? So it was very good, man. Very good from Turgot. He did have some moments that he was dispossessed, for instance, for showing too much of the ball to the respective Serbian player that was pressing him, but for the most part he was very lively and he did very well in the game. He also had a very good shot at goal as well that forced a very good save from the keeper. So overall, Turgot was very lively in this game and he had a good game. Speedy Williams, I personally thought, even though people say Speedy Williams didn't have a good game, I personally thought Speedy Williams had a quietly good game in this particular game. That's just my opinion. I don't think he was that bad as people make him out to be, or it's not even that he was bad. People saying that he was uninvolved, right? I think he had a quietly good game in my estimation. Mariappa, Mariappa was okay as well in this particular game, right? Amari Bell, Amari Bell, right? The second time we have seen Amari Bell in the national colors. And again, Amari Bell looked good, right? Amari Bell looked good, right? He performed very well on both sides of the ball and especially on the defensive side of the ball, man, right? He is good defensively, you can tell. And I've seen him for Blackburn as well. Blackburn, yes, Blackburn as well. I've seen him for Blackburn, and he is good going forward as well. I think he's a good addition to the team. I honestly do. He had a good game on both sides of the ball, and especially on the defensive side of the ball. And we saw what he can do on the defensive side of the ball in the American game as well. So Bell was good. Bell was good. Fisher, O'Neal Fisher. I honestly thought that, with the greatest of respect to Fisher, I don't like to say this, but he was not the best. He was the worst starter, to be honest with you. I don't, to be fair to the player, I don't think he was as poor as some people make him out to be, right? But he wasn't good in my estimation. Right? He wasn't very good in my estimation. Not as poor as some people make him out to be, but he was definitely, out of all the starters, he was definitely the worst out of all the starters. And I think most people who watched the game agreed with that assessment. And on to many people's man of the match, right? The debutant, Wes Harding. Guys, man, when I saw Wes Harding and Liam Moore's performance, especially Liam Moore in the US game and this game, and Wes Harding's performance today, people, you can't doubt the commitment of the English baseballer them, man, or the English born players, man. Trust me. The English baller them want play for Jamaica people. Wes Harding was excellent in this particular game. Anything that came his way was shut down ASAP, right? And one of the things that impressed me about Harding was that he showed his versatility in this particular game. He was playing on the right side of the back three, right? He was playing as the right centre back. Wes Harding is usually a fullback, but we know, watching him play for Rotherham, that he can play in multiple positions and do a job, right? So, Wes Harding is a blessing to the national program, and especially the right fullback spot, man. We desperately needing an upgrade at right back, man. And he, I think, is an upgrade right now. And his performance in this particular game was very, very, very good. He was most people's man of the match. Lowe was exceptional in the first half, but not as exceptional in the second half, and we'll talk about that. But the reason why most people give Harding is because Harding, even though Lowe's period of being exceptional was probably, when Lowe was flying, he was the best player on the pitch for sure, undoubtedly. But Wes Harding was exceptional throughout the entire game, right? He was very good, and he had some good moments going forward as well. He had some good drives going forward as well, where he beat a couple of players, broke the lines, broke some lines, and got the play going up the pitch, right? So Wes Harding was very good in this particular game rather. and his versatility to the national program is welcomed with open arms. The big man himself, Liam Moore, right? I mean, there's nobody who can see Liam Moore play and not be impressed. This man does not have a bad game, people. This man does not have a bad game. He's controlled physicality and aggression, right? And note the word controlled. He's controlled physicality. He's so aggressive, but he is so disciplined with his aggression. He is so controlled in his aggression, right? It is just amazing to see. He is so aggressive, so aggressive, but yet still so controlled in his aggression, right? Liam Moore is another blessing to the national program, man. He reads the game exceptionally well, guys. Exceptionally well. He reads the game, spots danger very well, positions himself very well, right? I mean, he's just amazing, man. He's just amazing, man. He knows when to fully commit himself as well. He knows when to fully commit himself to a challenge, and he gets it right. Sometimes some defender commit themselves to some challenge, and they read the situation wrong and them get beaten, right? And Liam Moore doesn't, that does not happen to Liam Moore, right? He knows when to commit himself to a particular situation, and when he commits himself, guys, he commits himself. Liam Moore, another brilliant game from him in the Reggae Boyz jersey, added to the brilliant game against the United States as well. Javan East. Javan East wasn't as sharp in front of goal, right? If the chances that fell to East had fell to, if those chances that fell to East had fell to Andre Gray, would probably have been 2-0, 3-0 up, right? We probably would have been 2-0, 3-0 up, right? But I'm not gonna be as hard on the player as some people are. I don't think he played that badly as some people made it out to look, right? And I do think, to be fair, his chances were not as clear cut as some of them were, some of them weren't, right? Some of the chances he should have done better, and some of the chances he received the ball in some very tight spaces in the box, in my opinion, right? And I think some of the chances that fell to Javan East, the defending from the Serbians on those particular chances was very good. Shooting channel blocked very quickly, and him being challenged in the box very quickly. And some of the chances as well that fell to Javan East, he had difficulty getting the ball out from under his feet. The ball got stuck under his feet in the penalty box. So, to be honest with you, he didn't play as badly as people, make it out to be, but he could have done better. He could have done better for sure. You would think that if those chances fell to Andre Gray, Andre Gray would have done better with them. So East wasn't that bad, but he has some improvement to make as well. Dennis Taylor, the goalkeeper, right? He made a decent save or two, right? To be fair, he didn't have I can't say the player didn't have a good game. I can't say the player didn't have a bad game, right? That would be a bad perspective to look at it. He did have a good game. His body language between the sticks suggested confidence. He seemed to have had the situation under control. That was his body language, right? So he did well, commanded his area well. Some of his kickouts could have been better. Some of his long passing could have been better. His distribution was not the best, right? His distribution was not the best. And truth be told, I don't think any of our current goalkeepers, I don't think any of them, their strengths are distribution, or their strength is distribution. Most of them, that's the weaker part of their game, right? So Dennis Taylor, I think had a good game. The only issue that I have with Taylor is that he was a little bit too comfortable on the ball on a couple of occasions when the boys were trying to play out from the back, right? And because of this, he spent a little bit too much time on the ball and invited pressure. That in some cases got him into some potentially sticky situations, some situations that was too close of a call in my estimation, or too a little bit too risky for my liking. But apart from that, he had a good game, and he did make a save or two, a good save or two off the top of my head, if memory serves me right. I don't think he could have done much about the goal, right? I think it would have been a bit unfair to say that the save could have been made. I think he did the best he could on that particular attempt. The substitute, Malcolm, came on, and to be honest with you, didn't do anything much. No offense to him, but it's just the truth. And Kevin Lambert, he played too little to really give a fair assessment of him. And I'm gonna do a Low and Ravel video. I have a special video that I'm gonna do on both those two players. So that's why I didn't really talk about those two players much in this particular game. So guys, that's my 2 cents. The Reggae Boyz impressing. Theodore Tapa Whitmore impressing, giving Reggae Boyz giving a good account of themselves, getting a creditable 1-1 draw with the mighty Serbians. So guys, that's my 2 cents. Take care, stay safe, and until next time.